King of Basketball, Doug Rachel. Chapter 1, The Falling Star, Doug's First Appearance. In a slum apartment in Queens, New York City, a cry breaks the silence of 3 in the morning. It was a snowy night, the hospital was dimly lit, and the baby's eyes were on fire. His name is Doug Rachel. Since childhood, this child has been different from others. He was able to kick a basketball hoop in kindergarten, made his coach quit an elementary school physical education class, and beat an 18-year-old thug to the point of quitting the group in a bullfight on the street. Doug's mother was an alcoholic, his father had long since disappeared, and his only relatives were his grandmother, an eccentric old lady who would burn incense and pray late Saturday night, always saying, "Rachel, you are a star that fell from the sky, with a big life, a hard soul, and a troublemaker." At that time, no one took it seriously, but the star was indeed getting brighter and brighter. Chapter 2, Street Villains, The Road to Kings. At the age of 16, Doug became the youngest MVP of the Brown Street League, and his signature move, aerial elbow spin smash, became an urban legend. The media called him a villain, and his opponents said he was the plague of the basketball world. But the audience on the sidelines, every time they see his game, it seems that they have fallen into an evil spirit, and they don't fall a game. At the age of 18, he turned down scholarships from 3 prestigious NCAA schools and chose to sign a professional contract with a little-known underground team, the Iron Bone Gang. Because he doesn't want to be educated, he wants to educate the world. And the owner of this team is the legendary ball ruffian Tello Capo, a land snake who smokes cigars and counts money, and gives Doug the first lesson. On the basketball court, skill is only worth 30%, and the remaining 70% is ruthless. As a result, Doug learned to deceive his eyes and foul, block his elbows, provoke in a moment, and sway his steps. He turned the field into a battlefield, drove opponents crazy, and made the audience laugh. He is not an angel, not a hero. He is the god of war. Chapter 3, Poison and Gold Mine, NBA Debut. At the age of 20, Doug appeared in an exhibition game before the NBA draft as a street guest for the first time. He single-handedly challenged the 3 pre-selected champions and humiliated the Prodigy Academy center Ref Viten in public with a 360-turn flying dunk. The scene was chaotic. The narrator exclaimed, "This is not a show. It's a massacre." 3 days later, a headline appeared on the league's official website, "Doug Rachel, no draft, no training, signed directly, Los Angeles Fangs." Los Angeles Fangs, the most dangerous and depraved team in the league. It's owned by a movie production mogul, and the team's culture is so dramatic and crazy that it's almost the NBA's forbidden land. Here, Doug's stage. On his debut, he clashed with his teammates and exchanged fists. The coach ejected him from the arena, and the next home game was a record-breaking crowd, just to watch him curse and fight and slam dunk. He's not a star, he's a phenomenon. Chapter 4, Box Office Villain, There's a Ghost Behind It. As Doug stormed and swept through the league, his fame has surpassed that of a digital MVP, but he has never been selected for the All-Star game, never ranked as the best of the year. Because the Alliance is afraid of him. The chairman of the Alliance personally met with Fang's boss and whispered a warning, "This guy will ruin our brand." But the boss smiled, "The brand is not valuable, the ticket is valuable." Just as Doug swept the playoffs and led the team to the finals, a mysterious video was leaked. He entered an underground club on the night after the game, conspired with a group of high-ranking political and business leaders, and even hooked up with a certain gang leader for Dog Saf. Journalists are crazy and public opinion is out of control. Doug sneered, "Who said poison can't be sold for money?" At this time, the NBA decided to ban him permanently, but as soon as the news was released, the league's stock plummeted by 30% within a week. More than 7 million fans launched a Return Me Rachel campaign, and even the White House intervened. That night, basketball was no longer a game, it was a revolution. Chapter 5, The Night of the Champions, The Tears of the Villains. In the end, Doug led the Fangs to the finals against the league's #1 team, the Chicago Heavies, who included the Academy genius he cried that year, Reef Witton. The two finally faced off again on the final stage, winning 4 out of 7 fights, and the first 6 were in the dark. In the 7th game of overtime, in the last second, Doug held the ball. The audience held their breath and the coach closed his eyes. Doug broke through the three-man defense, flew to dunk, and completed a move against the sky. The whistle blew and the audience boiled. He stood under the basket, his face covered with sweat, no roaring, no provocation. He just looked up quietly and looked at the ceiling. My grandmother said, "Rachel, you are the star, you will always come back to heaven." Tears flickered in the lights. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 6. Before leaving, the last battle. He publicly announced his retirement after winning the title. "I fought all the battles. I don't need the Medal of Alliance, I'm my own king." He returned to Queens and opened a teenage gym called the No Surrender Club, which was open to all street kids for free. He doesn't accept the media, doesn't publish books, doesn't make documentaries, but he shows up with the kids every week to teach them not just to play, but how to stand up. A reporter sneaked in to take pictures, but Doug was not angry, but said lightly, "Shoot it. Shoot this for the world and let them know that the real champion is not a trophy." Chapter 7. The villain never dies, and sometimes he returns. 5th year of retirement. Doug Rachel's hair began to show a little white strands, and her figure was still burly, but with a little more poise. He opens at 7 a.m. every morning at the club arena and turns off the lights at 10 p.m. The children are around him to learn to play, to learn to be brave and to be human. He is their guardian and the backbone of the whole community. But this calm was broken by a phone call. "Doug, it's me, Tello Capo." The voice was already familiar, it was his former bull, the owner of the Fangs team, and the man who kicked him into the fire pit. "The league is almost over," Tyler said in a deep voice. "No one wants to watch the game right now, no box office, no blood. People miss you, no, they need you. Don't make trouble, I've quit the rivers and lakes. Can you retreat from the court, can you retreat from history?" That night, Doug was silent until the wee hours of the morning. He sat in the arena and looked at the pictures on the wall. He had won the 7th game single-handedly, and he had been used by the whole world as a joke, a cancer, a hero. He saw the children's smiles, and he saw his old anger burning in his chest. Finally, he made a phone call. "I need a brand new pair of sneakers." Underscore 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 un. Chapter 8. Return to the Alliance, Rules Rewritten. After 5 years of silence, Doug Rachel announced that he would return to the NBA as a player and assistant coach to join the bottom-ranked Theta Wolves. The whole world was shocked. The media ridiculed, "Old dogs can't learn new tricks." The league acquiesced, but issued strict rules and restrictions: no participation in off-the-field disputes, no attacks on journalists, and no excessive behavior on the field. "It seems legitimate, but it's actually a chain." Doug sneered. "Lao Tzu was a god with no rules back then, and now I'm still afraid of your broken paper." In the first game, Doug played 8 minutes, 5 assists, 3 dunks, 1 technical foul, and 1 fake free throw. The audience went crazy, and the ratings broke a new league high. The coaching staff privately complained, "This guy doesn't listen to orders at all." But the boss said, "He doesn't listen to you, but the audience only listens to him." In 3 weeks, Doug built the entire Theta Wolves into the most ferocious defensive team in the league. He doesn't want to score, he just grabs the ball, he just wants to block, he just makes the opponent scared. He said, "I'm not here to play, I'm here to slap my face." Underscore 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 un. Chapter 9. The Black Hand Rises Again, All-Star Conspiracy. Doug's return not only brought the Wolves back to the playoff hot zone, but also caused panic among the league's old forces. During the All-Star voting, the numbers were covertly made, and Doug was only 8th. Fans fried, and even CNN asked, "This is Doug Rachel, not a rookie." But Doug was not angry, he just said coldly, "Let them hide again, and I'll lift the table again." He decided to host his own real game, inviting the suppressed players who were not selected and the overseas players who returned home to fight against the All-Stars. Outcome? The live broadcast exceeded 100 million people, and even surpassed the championship final. The move officially angered the top of the alliance. They held a secret meeting and decided to ban Doug and disqualify him from the tournament again. Reason: disrupting the order of the game and violating the rules of the group competition without permission. But this time, it's not 2008. The Players' Union stepped forward and fans staged a sit-in protest in front of the White House. Doug became the symbol of the times, not a player, but a revolutionary. underscore 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 un. Chapter 10, Legendary Battle, Burning the Palace of Power. The league relented under pressure and allowed Doug to participate in the ultimate matchup as a free agent, in which the league selected the strongest active star to collide head-on with Doug's anti-league division, and the game was decided to be won or lost. On the night of the match, it was broadcast worldwide. The sidelines are filled with legends of the past: Jordan, Barkley, Rodman, Ranbir. They were all villains, and they have come for him today. At the beginning of the game, Doug played the whole game, against the new king of the league, Kim Navi. The two did not give in to each other, and the fourth quarter was fiercely deadlocked. In the last 5 seconds, Doug held the ball and the score was tied. Standing across from him was a new generation of aces who had openly called him outdated waste. He didn't speak, just shook his shoulders, broke through, turned around, and leaned back for 3 points. Hit. The audience went crazy, and all the commentators lost their voices. The game is over. Doug stood in the middle of the field, his hands raised like a statue, sweat and roars intertwined into an eternal image. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 11, Farewell to the Stage, Leave the Legend. In this battle, Doug not only defeated his opponent, but also broke the old system of the alliance. The players demanded changes to the rules and increased freedoms, and the league was forced to reform. They are no longer employees, but protagonists. And Doug, after this war, chose to really retire. He said, "I'm not playing for championships or MVPs or headlines, I'm here to prove that if you dare to break the rules, you can make them." People asked him what he was going to do next. He replied with a smile. "I'm going to open a hot dog shop and tell every kid who comes to buy it, don't learn from me, but don't be afraid to be me." Underscore 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 un. Conclusion: I'm the king of basketball, Doug Rachel. Barkley once said, "He's a combination of Jordan and Dennis of this generation." "He's the only guy who made me want to go back to the court," Rodman said. "We taught him the tricks, and he taught the whole NBA how to play," Ranbir said. And Doug himself said, "I'm the villain, I'm the box office, I'm the defense, I'm the winner, I'm the champion. I'm the king of basketball, Doug Rachel."